Who's that on TV? Oh shit, looks like John Wick. Bill and Ted, just Ted. Neo from the Matrix. Who's that? Keanu Reeves.
Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland, Season 5, Episode 9, Point Break. I'm your co-host, Denali.
I'm your co-host Ryan.
I'm your co-host Jace.
Ooh, I like the sound of this guy.
Hey
So
guys.
Denali, are you just a normal dude?
Yep, just another normal surfer like you guys. Surf every day, love surfing. You guys ever heard
You gonna
about...
drop in then, man? Come on, drop in, man. We got 12 footers off the break.
Oh, definitely, brah. I'm gonna do that soon. But in the meantime, have you guys heard about any bank robberies or drugs in the area?
My best friend sells drugs.
Yeah, man.
Like,
What do you think this is?
what?
Dang.
You want some?
That sounds tight, brah. I would love to indulge in some drug paraphernalia. What type of drugs does he sell?
Ibuprofen in case you fall off your board. He's
Yeah.
got cold medication straight from the store in the box still in case you get too cold out in the water or you didn't bring your wetsuit and you get sick.
Good.
He's got
Yeah.
some,
we have brand name in case your health benefits card only takes brand name.
Yeah. He works at a legal pharmacy. It's just right
Okay.
over there.
Walgreens.
Yeah.
Dang, brah. That sounds super lame. Say, do you guys have any,
Oh, sorry. I meant to say that my best friend sells drugs at the Walgreens over there.
That's good. That's a good take. Yeah, thank you. That's good. I'll edit that. I'll edit that back in. Yeah, I'll take, let's see. Crystal meth. Do you guys have any crystal meth and Mary Jane?
They've got Crystal Light in the aisle 4.
Does it get you high?
Not as high as riding these waves.
Okay, I think that was a good scene, guys. I think that was a pretty good. See, I wasn't sure how to close. We haven't done improv in a while. Was there a good close? Did I miss an opportunity? Like maybe you guys could have taken me onto the waves. And maybe I would have like drowned or something.
so
I
maybe
thought
you
you were
messed up.
gonna try and ride a wave, and then I
Yeah.
was gonna tell Ryan that I was going to push you over for taking my wave, but we didn't get there.
That would have been funny. I think I edited it too soon. So good note for me. Thanks, guys. I think that was a good that was a good improv sesh. I legitimately had an improv a pretty intricate one planned for us initially for this episode, just because this is a movie where Keanu had to improv quite a bit and inhabit a character that wasn't him because he was undercover. However, I decided against it. Ryan, you said you were under the weather today, and I felt bad listening back to Dracula, and you were borderline dying of COVID, and I was forcing you to do the most difficult, arduous improv exercises for like a good hour, and I was like, you know what? Let's just shelve it for this episode. We can just have a normal GBGB episode and enjoy and just talk about it.
I mean, I appreciate the concern.
Yeah.
The benefit might be you might get more out of me in my fugue state than be if I'm thinking 100% clearly, because then I would, social anxiety might take over.
Fair enough, but I don't want to be known as the guy, just dragging his friends into the muck of it at their lowest.
Hey, Ryan's sick again.
Let's have
Get the
improv.
collar on him.
Let's tell him it's Sunday.
Point Break.
Because I initially said Point Break, like as if it's a
Right.
location.
Point Break. Point Break.
Point Break.
I totally know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
But now, because I learned from the movie, because I looked it up, because Keanu at one point is like, oh yeah, great Point Break.
Yeah. There's point breaks.
It's a surfing term.
Yeah.
And I didn't
point
know
break.
this.
Oh, what?
So
I think Point Break sounds so much cooler than Point Break.
it's a movie called Point Break,
Yeah, Point Break.
not
Okay,
Point Break.
Question.
Yeah.
This is a great.
Yeah.
This is all about emphasis, and maybe like it sounds like we're going crazy over here, but it's about whether or not you emphasize the first word or the second word.
Of course.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do your guys' grandparents, if you ever heard them speak, do they say ice cream, or do they say ice cream?
Wait, we've had this conversation, Ryan. We've had this in the Ben Affleck season.
Really? I don't remember, and I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
It might have been in the town.
Because your grandparents say ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice
Ice cream.
cream.
Ice cream.
Am I just applying equal emphasis to both words when I say Point
Say
Break?
it.
Ice cream. Point Break.
Huh, you're kind of in the... I feel like he's kind of in the middle
Look
with
at this
Point Break.
guy.
What?
Ice cream sounded fine. But, I mean, I'm known to have weird emphasis on certain words. Like I'll say orange instead of orange.
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 How do you say
Tournament.
how do you say caramel?
Tournament. Caramel. Unless it's fancy and I say caramel.
Yeah. Well,
Say caramel every time.
there's a caramel
Get that.
and a caramel, right? It's two different things, kind of.
I
Kinda.
thought,
Oh, I
is
don't
it-
think so.
I don't think it's this. Is it this? I'm not a candy guy.
Crayon.
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 What? You gotta say
It's how-
crayon? We're from the
it's-
same
you get-
place.
That you fucking write the letters. You gotta say all of them.
Crane. Crayon.
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 You
Crayon.
guys,
You probably
Pumpkin?
ate too many crayons as a kid.
Say-
That's why you
I say
say it
pumpkin.
like that.
What? Say pumpkin.
do you guys say? Yeah.
Okay, going on this. Now we're getting into like a little bit more specific, but
Right.
there's a thing on the New York Times that I very much encourage you to look it up. It's about they predict where you're from based on the dialect you use and like the nicknames that you have for common daily things.
Oh, neat.
And it's extremely accurate. If it's not accurate to you, it's at least accurate to like your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Alaska kids like us, we have a weird dialect because we have a shit. Have we had this exact fucking conversation? I think we have, like, where we all have like Midwestern dialects.
But
because
we're
we're
yeah,
surrounded
because of
by-
We're a
Minnesota?
hodgepodge
Yeah.
of everything.
No,
Well,
I
so
think
many
we've had
Viking
this.
things.
I think we've had this convo before. So this movie has a lot. I have a little. This movie has a lot of rides.
This isn't
right?
a
Like,
quiz, is it?
No, it's not a quiz. It's not a
Oh my
quiz. We've done a lot of quiz. We've done a lot of quizzes. Okay.
A lot of rides? You mean like a lot of theme park rides named after it?
No, man, it's a lot of thrills. A lot of thrills in this movie.
Ooh.
You know,
Oh,
Keanu's doing a lot
metaphor.
of stuff, right? Like he's skydiving, he's surfing. You know, he's doing cool shit. What's what's the most extreme shit you guys have ever done?
Oh.
Just in general. Like I'm a pretty this might come as a shock to you guys, but I'm a pretty anxious guy, and like sometimes I get a little nervous doing extreme stuff, like roller coasters. I'm usually like pale like a ghost and sweating. I look like Voldemort, like I look like I'm about to die in the like roller coaster line because I'm so nervous, and that scares the shit out of me. Like, but do you guys have any like extreme shit you've done like in Point Break? Like, could you be Keanu and just jump into these situations?
We went to Hershey Park together. And I actually think
we did.
you kept your cool. I think the most scary thing about riding the new roller coaster was that I had my dad's keys in my pocket. And it's literally a roller coaster that inverts and goes like negative degrees.
Yeah, the scariest part of that was like being basically upside down and Jace just screaming, "Oh shit, the keys!" and it's like in his hands while we were upside down. And we were like 3 hours away from home.
Yes.
So like you couldn't lose those.
Didn't the car also like almost break down on our drive there?
I remember there was some fiasco, but that was scary. And Jace, I'm glad you thought I kept my cool, but I was pissing and shitting my pants in preparation for the big roller coaster.
Denali, I hate
Yeah.
to say it, man.
Yeah.
Roller coasters is not an extreme sport.
It's okay. It's not. But I was doing that as kind of like a lead-in a little bit. Like I
Yeah,
get scared
okay.
of roller coaster. I was being vulnerable for you guys, but I'm
so
getting mocked.
3 of us used to go snowboarding all the time, and we used to go off trail, and we used to go backcountry, actual backcountry where there's not even a resort.
That's true.
And then we used to go off trail at the resort in Alaska. I think that's, for most people, that's relatively extreme for the average Joe. I think a lot of people that I meet on the East Coast, they don't do any sort of off trail riding at all. And it's not nearly as steep as any of the stuff we went through. I remember one time, me and Denali specifically, we were off trail on the side of Mad Max in Alyeska.
Oh.
And we were going through the trees and someone built this jump. Remember this?
Yeah, I do. I
It was
think, I,
like
think I
a
do
little
remember
clearing,
this. Yeah.
And we were looking at it. We're like, yeah, let's do it. And it was a great day. There's like literally feet of powder. And I go first. I remember I go first, and I jump off, and it was way freaking steeper on the downslope than I remembered. And I absolutely just, as soon as I see that, I start doing the fish out of water,
Yeah.
like frightened bird thing. and I wash tub it, crash head over heels, and I'm laying in the snow, and I'm trying to like scream, trying to like brush my face off so I could scream like, "Don't go!" And you're like, "Okay," and then like 3 seconds later, here, and you launched. It did the exact same thing that I did, and landed like a foot from me.
Yeah, that was a big stomach dropper of a moment of when you see it's just nothing but white. And so when you go up in the air and you see like how much space there is between you and the Earth's
in the ground, because
Yeah.
it's really just a double black essentially, right? Because we're off trail, we're in the trees, and it's steep AF.
Yeah.
It was so funny, man.
I never did the North Face.
Oh, really?
You ever did the North
It's
Face?
okay.
So, like,
I thought it was
The
cool,
North
yeah.
Face sometimes is too steep to where it's not even that fun. Like you just have to like go down safely.
It's got to be a good day.
We're
We're pretty extreme dudes. We're pretty extreme.
I
yeah.
would much rather, honestly. So, like, in skydiving, there's like 1 point of failure, and if it fails, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Right.
If I still have nightmares about dropping into some of those really, really steep runs on Alaska, where I'm like, oh, because
Well, right. Because like you
scares
think
the shit out of me.
if I fall, I'm never going to stop.
I'm
It's what your brain
sliding.
tells you. Yeah.
Yeah, that I guess snowboarding's pretty extreme. Like there was like I have a crippling fear of heights. That's one of my few phobias
Oh,
that
really?
I have, where I get vertigo and my stomach drops really easily, and which probably goes along with roller coasters. When I was in Guatemala, I did like a zip lining thing. Like I was in Guatemala in college just for like a medical mission thing. And they were like, "Yeah, you want to go fucking zip lining?" And it was really tight. Like it was just one of those things where you just show up, they just slap the helmet on you and be like, "All right, you're good, dog. Just go." And I was like, "Sweet, like this is gonna be sick." And I had to face my fear because I'm like anytime I'm above like 10 feet, I get really sweaty. And me and the surgeon were like in the back, and we were both pale as fucking ghosts. Like I was hunched over because I thought I was gonna have a bowel movement the whole time. There was like 13 runs. And the surgeon had his eyes closed, and he was whispering to himself. And we were both like the scared ones in the pack. And I remember there was a huge run, and you're like 450 feet in the air in this huge run. It's fucking huge. And it's like you're going across a canyon. And I remember like the instructor, who was a real funny guy, like I was like, "Okay, so do I just go?" Like it was weird because you're just going to jump off a cliff. And he's like, "Yeah, just go, man." And I was like, "All right, cool." And so I jumped off the cliff, and right when I jumped, he was like, "Oh no, don't go!" And then I was already in the air. And then, anyways, it was fucking terrifying. And then a gust of wind hit me, and I had to like pull myself on the wire to the other side. It was scary as shit. That was the most extreme thing.
I think maybe I'm a weenie. I mean, I would go.
Huh,
I would
yeah.
jump. I would go skydiving.
Oh, I would not.
I don't
I could
really
not.
have a
Yeah.
primary concern with that. I did get entirely frightened jumping off of high things into water scares me. I have
Fuck
to
that.
go right after somebody or I won't.
Yeah. Like, I don't like dropping into an environment. I don't like just dropping. I don't like the feeling of that. I don't like the loss of control.
I don't like deep water. Being in the
I don't
middle
like-
of the
I don't-
ocean, scary
I'm
as
not
fuck.
even psyched about that. There was a diving board at the Wasilla pool, and it's about a foot off the water. And it took me years of mental conditioning to feel brave enough to jump off of it. And by jump, I mean just fall off of it.
Shit, I couldn't be Keanu.
You can be Keanu Reeves.
I like water stuff. I grew up around a lot of water in my summers, so like I'm definitely afraid of there being a giant lake monster beneath me. But we used to do like rope swings and like wakeboarding and jump. We used to jump off of the cliffs in California, which is about this like
Oh my God.
I think it's about 35 feet somewhere in there.
That's huge. That's a huge, yeah.
And there's a river, and it's jumping off into a river, and you have to swim. You jump, you come up, and then you have to swim back to shore before you get swept down the river.
Oh my God.
Because it's in the middle of, it's in like the calm section between two rapids. And like if you penciled it, like if you didn't put your arms out to the side, or if you were a bigger person, you'd hit the bottom. And I remember hitting the bottom with my feet a couple times.
Oh my God. Fuck
And
that.
yeah, there's like one ledge you can jump off of, and you have to jump off straight. And it's
So-
actually kind of nerve-wracking.
I think Ryan, out of the three of us, you're gonna be the one who's Johnny Utah. Like I think you'll have to be the guy who's gonna be jumping. in those
I would
situations.
love to do that. I want to surf so bad.
Ooh, learning how to surf would be sick.
Oh God, yeah. I love boogie board. We had a whole boogie boarding
Yeah.
section of one of our episodes about sick boogie boarding. I feel like we would love to surf, but like as soon as Bodie's like, you want to go skydiving? I would have a panic attack. Be like, I can fucking do this. We're not friends. I'm a cop.
The
Outbreak. Yeah.
The one. So I have a paddleboard, and I think
Brad.
in the yes, but I think the thing about a lot of these situations is we talked about like really deep water. If I get acclimated to it, if I take a little while and I calm down and just sit into it. When I was in Wisconsin, I paddled like a third of a mile offshore with my paddleboard and just jumped into the middle of Lake Michigan, and was just like,
Nice. That sounds awesome.
but at the same time, like, I don't want to be in there. You don't know what's in there.
So
I guess
the depths.
Yeah.
Is
now
scary.
that I'm thinking about it, I guess I do a lot. We do a lot of to get out to like our hunting camps. We have to ride 4-wheelers like off trail and through the woods and stuff for a long time. And then like I remember. Did I tell you? It's the same river, the rafting, the tubing incident down the river. Is that where we jump off the cliffs? Did I tell you guys about this ever? I'm certain I have. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Me and my friends, me and my cousin and one of my friends, we're gonna go tubing in like literal rubber inner tubes down the river, and we did not know what we were doing. Our friends in high school, like our acquaintances at least, have been always like, yeah, it's super easy, you just jump in and you do this, and they're always like, well, don't flip, right? Because like you don't want to flip.
It's bad.
It's bad. And I've rafted that river before, like in a big old raft, but never like tubed it. And we jump in, so like me and my friend are gonna share one, and then we have another. My cousin is on another one. He's a little bit older than us, so he gets his own. Duh. And these aren't ones with like handles. It's not meant to do this. These are just like rubber black donuts.
Wait, how are you sharing? Are you guys butt to butt?
Oh no, we're belly.
foot to
We're
foot?
side to side. We're both on our belly.
Oh
You
my
weren't
God, okay.
spooning.
Spooning probably the
That
most
would have been
secure.
more efficient.
And more secure and efficient.
We don't need to talk about where
I don't
you
know
were at
about.
back then.
I don't know how you would stack the spoons there. And so we jump in and literally. So there's this power station. And we're in the middle of Big Canyon. There's this power station. It's the outflow from the hydroelectric plant.
Yeah.
And it comes down this big chute, and it kind of makes its own waves because the water's traveling super fast. And we crawl down this cliff, like kind of like face, and we jump in there, but our timing's off, and instantly we flip.
Oh my God.
And the thing about like rapids like this, there's like chunks. So you go along for 100 yards or 50 yards of rapids, and there's like a calm section, right? So we combobulate ourselves. And we go into the next section, and we're like, okay, this time we're going to do it. There's like rocks and stuff. These are real rapids. And our cousin's on the nicer inner tube, like, woo! And instantly, first rock, we flip. Well, we kind of learned, like, we kind of learned to, like, put your feet up, right? We were told. And so you don't want to hit your head on any rocks. Man, this repeats. And we're at a point where we can't get out, right? Like, there's no good spot to, like, get out until we get through the whole thing. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
And about 3 or 4 times this goes by, and we're just so over it, me and my friend, because we flip every single time. And the biggest one's coming up. And so once again, we're
This is how his
scared,
friend died.
we're scared out of our minds. And we flip instantly for like the 4th time in a row and lose the tube.
Oh my God.
So I remember being thrown to like my right because we went around the wrong edge of the rock. We're supposed to go towards like this other side. I remember like being thrown over the rapids and hitting the shore. Like the shore isn't just like this gentle slope up. The shore is like more big rocks, right? Because the water doesn't have anywhere else to go. And I remember being like hitting the rocks over and over, and like I was outstretched my arms kind of like upstream, trying to like claw at the rocks to get a finger hold or a hand hold, and I would just slip right off the rocks. I was so like tired, and I was hitting the rocks, hit one, and then like try and grab it and just be too tired to hold on to it, hit the next, and I was getting discombobulated.
Yeah.
And then I remember turning downstream. I was like felt like I was drowning. I remember turning downstream and seeing like a big drop. Like I was about to go over like a mini waterfall, right? Like a little rock.
So my worst nightmare.
All the water was going over. And I remember being like, oh, fuck me. And all of a sudden, a hand, I'm not joking, it's like a freaking movie. A hand grabs my wrist and stops me. And it's my friend Jake, the one that I was sharing the tube with, who I lost. And he must have been further down. And he must have like Tarzan or like George of the Jungle did, right? And so he stops me. And I relieve the tension, and Jake doesn't go anywhere. And I look upstream, and he's literally lodged between two rocks, like 127-hour style. His leg is lodged between these two boulders upstream from him. And so he's just like floating like a piece of driftwood, like in the water. And so I have to like go, now I have to like crawl my way up these rocks upstream and like help him get out of this crack. And we eventually do it, and we just sit on the shore for so long, I remember, and he couldn't walk. My flip-flop had wrapped around like my middle toe and like dislocated my middle toe. Oh, no. And so that was what I was doing. So I was like, oh man. And so eventually we get down to we like hobbled along the shore down to the calm spot where my cousin is chilling with our raft. He found it.
Yeah.
We get out of the water at the cliffs, and then we have to walk back like all barefooted. And my friend like can't walk. So we have to he leans on one of our shoulders.
Shit.
And he broke his leg. We get back to town. He gets an x-ray. He literally had a hairline fracture going up his leg.
What bone was it?
The shin bone, right?
Okay, so the tibia.
He hairline fracture, like vertically going up his leg.
Oh.
So
and he missed like the rest of the basketball season and everything like that. It was crazy.
We're not Johnny Utah. We're stupid, we're not if anything.
Utah, dude. Like these were like, I don't know the classes, but people in a raft, you just coast over these things.
I mean, Ryan, Johnny Utah wiped out and nearly died his first run.
That's true.
So I think that is a Johnny Utah move. What if someone saved you?
What if he was just acting?
Do you think he was acting so the girl would save him? Oh shit!
What if Keanu Reeves was just acting?
What if Keanu Reeves was acting?
They set up that whole scene where they picked the bricks up off the bottom of the pool. So I was kind of like, does he really know how to swim? And he's just
That's not bad.
That's who I'm going to try and get to teach me how to surf.
Keanu's such a good actor, dude. Well, speaking of like rides, and Ryan, that was a fucking wild story. I'm glad you're alive. I hope your friend's leg's okay. Like,
I remember us being very, very glad we're alive. And we went back to my house and ate dino-shaped chicken nuggets. And we were like, this is the best meal on Earth. It's like the opposite of a last meal.
Isn't it crazy that dino nuggets have no bones in them and the only thing we see of dinos is bones? Isn't that weird?
Huh.
Just food for thought.
Do you think since we found out that dinosaurs most likely had feathers, that they should put feathers in dino nuggets?
Stick feathers into the nuggets?
Do you guys know how recently we found out about the whole freaking dinosaur situation?
Pretty recently.
Like really recently.
Wasn't it like the 90s they found out dinosaurs were
they
were assembling them?
Plate tectonics, like plate tectonics and everything. Okay. They only put together like our parents had already like gone through high school before they put plate tectonics together.
I heard that was really recent. I mean, I think the first dinosaur bone was discovered by like Alfred P. Englishman, the dinosaur hunter from 1890, right? I mean, really recently. Well, first dinosaur discovered.
They probably had found it before, but they were like, this is a big cow.
First white dude to write it down is not,
be clear.
The same as first person to find one.
It was this extremely white British sounding dude, Mr. William Buckland, from 1819.
Where's he from?
He's from England.
Ryan, could you let me know what it was like? Could you tell me about finding the new... Yeah.
Me. Hello, I'm William Buckland. I found this big old bone. It don't look like no sheep bone. It's a big lizard.
Wow, it was like I was there.
Thank you for...
Can you take a pass at it? I just want to hear another take, just different take. Do a different.
What was his name?
William Buckland.
Day 39 in the perilous jungles of South Sudan. I have found the largest bone I've ever seen. I believe it to be a dinosaur. I'm going to call it the Buckland-osaur. I'm so great.
Dude, that was like legit.
That's like I was there. And they
didn't. It would have been way funnier to reverse our impressions.
The Bucklandosaur was later named the Megalosaurus.
Oh, wait, is that
for
real?
You found a big one.
He named it the Megalosaurus because it was his first swing at it. He was like, "Oh, hello, governor. I found a bloody bone in the ground. And this is a big old longy wongy bony wony. And I'm gonna name it a dino wino. And it's gonna be a megalosaur." That's my take. Just directors, whatever, just pick whichever one of the three of us you want in your British movie. I mean, we were talking about rides. Like, Ryan, I know you're a coaster head too, and you might be able to contribute to this too. Like, rides simulate like an experience. Like theme park rides, they'll experience like dropping or spinning, or some rides, the experience is getting really, really wet. And then some rides, they make you feel like a dropping sensation. And I was just wondering if we can design a new ride that maybe simulates a new sensation, like a ride that makes you feel really cold. Like that's the thrill.
Oh, like 4D, yeah.
Like how cold it makes you.
What about
not
a ride that locks you in and just moves really slow? So you just you're on it for 6 hours, so you get really, really hungry. And it's just taking you through kitchens.
I think it's a small world.
You literally are just being taken past 3 Michelin star kitchens, and they're oh,
is that Gordon Ramsay?
You're like, oh, please,
oh, shit, I would love some,
please.
And it's 3 weeks long.
Yeah,
Jace, unironically, so we went to the Halloween event at the Six Flags near us, and one of the haunted houses, it must have been off-timed, where all the actors were getting back to their positions because we went through a haunted house and nobody jumped out at us. And so we were just walking through these vaguely themed rooms.
It's oh, I'm just getting back in my coffin here.
Yeah, and it was haunted hotel, so it's room 101, and we're I guess this is kind of creepy.
What's another sensation or emotion that there's not a ride for?
A ride that they
sadness
makes you sad.
It's next to a local sewage plant.
Okay, so it's.
Oh, there's a Six Flags in Jersey,
and it's really slow, and it locks you in, and it just really just makes you smell sewage for 3 weeks.
So it's a ride that makes you smell things that are bad. That's a good ride. The sad ride, it could also just show how the sewage plant is affecting the animals.
Oh man,
in there. So this bad Six Flags is gonna have a lot of different negative.
It's 5 Flags.
It's 5 Flags, and how good Six Flags is all the good emotions. 5 Flags is all the bad ones, but they're still rides.
Oh,
so
we can do a ride where it shows you a bunch of pictures of these really cool animals, and then you get to that, and they're they're all dead. Humanity killed them.
This ride's sweet so far.
Actual animals that zoo animals that have names and everything, and then it's and he tried to escape and we shot him.
Jesus Christ.
So it's the 5 Flag Zoo, and they shoot all the animals after you see them. So that's a good zoo. There's already a haunted house that makes you scared, so I think that's going to be the positive one. Is there a haunted house that makes you that makes you? I guess I was going to say bored, but that's already what Ryan did.
A haunted house that just emits the brown note.
Oh, makes you shit yourself, but not because of fear.
Yeah.
It triggers a bowel movement that's independent of fear that you walk through the thing. So it kind of just shakes you.
Yeah, just like idling cars, man.
Yeah.
And
it gets it going.
In 9th grade, I had this dumb elective class.
Okay.
And my chair was all the way in the back, and I would lean up against the wall. And it was at the end of a hallway, the room. So I think there was a boiler room right behind it, the wall, and it would vibrate. And it would vibrate at the exact frequency that made me have to do a BM. And I remember being
BM stories do we have on our podcast?
A lot.
For Ryan.
A lot.
It's my life, dude.
So each room, you have a boiler room. Another room is a soft serve ice cream machine. Another one's a dump truck offloading, things, rocks
people jumping
splashing
into pools.
water. People jumping into pools.
A house of positive affirmation that you get positively affirmed about your experiences in your life and the things that you've done. Mm-hmm. And then at the very end, it just says, just kidding.
Just kidding. This is good. It's a good theme park.
I feel like it might be important to point out that most patrons of theme parks are children.
Not
Not this one.
You're not gonna bring your kids to a Five Flag is gonna make you feel bad. Like it's a theme park for people who feel too good, and they need a reality check.
What if there's a teacups ride that has like this is a theme park where you can sell alcohol, and it has like you can do an optional breathalyzer on the teacup, and it senses how drunk you are, and if you're really drunk, it just spins like a motherfucker.
Or it doesn't stop. They give you alcohol on it, or you can take alcohol on it. And it doesn't stop until your blood alcohol is above a certain level.
Oh fuck!
Oh, so it spins faster the more
Drunk
sober you are.
go-karts.
What is it?
Drunk go-karts.
No, man, that's illegal. We're gonna get in legal trouble if we do that.
Oh, you think we're not?
Okay, and then what about a ride where you're in a chair and there are a bunch of knives on springs, and you have to get out of the knife chair? You know,
We're just talking about Saw.
That's Saw 3. That's just the plot of Saw 3.
What?
Yeah. What if you're like a janitor, but you're like really smart and you're just mopping floors, and then you see like a math equation on the whiteboard, and then you just start finishing it?
Goodwill Hunting the Ride. All these theme parks have like Batman the Ride, Superman the Ride, Goodwill Hunting.
And they're
the
like,
Ride.
You can't be smart, you're dumb. And then that's the ride.
And then you have to be like, how do you like them apples?
How do you like them apples? And there's another one where you're really good at running, and then you fight in Vietnam, and then you invest a lot of money in this Apple company, and things seem to be going really well. But then this lady's like, you have a kid now. And then there's a feather that blows in the wind, and that's the end of the ride.
Shawshank Redemption, the ride.
Shawshank Redemption.
There could be a ride that's one of those wave riders where you get all your. It's really big though. You get all your buddies.
Okay.
You get on it, and then the operator of the ride. There are 4 of you in the beginning, and then he shoots 3 of you. So
Okay.
only one
Yeah.
survives.
What is this? Wait, what is
What?
this? What is
It's
this
Point
movie?
Break the ride.
It's Point Break. Okay. Oh. Okay. So everyone dies in a hail of bullets besides the last 2 guys.
And then the wave runner actually kills the last person because it's such a big.
It's because it's a big last wave.
Yeah.
So it's Point Break the
Wow.
ride.
Guys,
They're like,
this bit is going so hard. And
This- yeah.
it makes me very happy
that
because I spent most of my day making theme parks. Chase is still thinking. He's got another one in the tank.
Okay.
What about a ride that you had to wear like earmuffs so that you were like completely couldn't hear anything, or you had to wear like a blindfold on?
Well, so that's actually not bad because like they already have dark rides.
Oh.
Yeah,
so-
like Space
so
Mountain.
yeah,
You know,
It's
like,
scarier because you can't see, so it's scarier because you can't hear.
yeah.
We can have a ride that simulates, when you're like at a party or at like a bar and you like meet someone that's cool and you start talking, but it's kind of just too loud, and you're like, what? No, I like that band. What? And it's just kind of like awkward and like it's not that enjoyable. That's like the ride.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. Pretty good. Where
Does
it's like
that
kind of
mean
hard to hear
do you have to
somebody.
be forced to talk
I'm
to someone?
confused about how
Yeah.
are 90% of the people in there employees?
Yeah, they're employees, and like one of them kind of has like a tangential interest in something you're interested in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, and you got to kind of find out who it is.
You have to find out
because
who
you
it
don't really
is.
want to be here. You came with somebody else. You said
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
come,
yeah.
and then the day showed up, and you didn't really want to go.
ooh, sensory deprivation ride, completely dark, but it's like one of the hanging coasters where you're up on the seat and your feet are dangling, and then it just like drags your feet through a puddle.
Oh
So you
God.
have to walk through the rest
And
of
your
the.
socks are all wet.
Wait, so what? Like it's like one of those Superman ones where your feet are dangling, and then they're like, "Are you ready for the ride of your life?" And it just dips you in a puddle, just your feet. Your socks are wet for the day.
There's a huge line for it. So you're like, guys, we have to do this first.
This is the best ride. It's Point Break the ride, and you know the part in Point Break where he like walks
He
by the
steps
beach.
in a wet thing in his kitchen. Like, oh, I just put these socks on.
If I was Walt Disney and I was building, like, I would build the most amazing theme park, but one of the rides is like where you get strapped in and they just throw an egg at your face.
Yeah, or like someone just comes along with the thing of mustard and like squirts it on your shirt.
Just squirts it all over you, and then they let you off.
The employee comes up and says, hey, do you want this corn dog? I'm like, yeah, and they just put it right on your shirt.
Oh, that's the ride. It's where someone offers you a corn dog. And then you say,
they
yeah.
rub mustard on your shirt.
And they rub mustard on your shirt, and they're like, too bad. And they eat the corn dog in front of you.
That's the rub. And then the arms come up.
Yeah, and they're like, all right,
And you
next.
leave.
This is good stuff, guys. This is good comedy. Like, people have said, like, they're like, man, these guys don't really know how to do comedy that well because they never went to comedy school. But I think this is evidence that we are Exhibit A.
Was it Joe that said that? Did Joe say we weren't funny?
We don't have to name names.
Yeah, Joe came on our show and he was like, the three of you don't know how to do comedy and you're all bad. So take that, Joe. See the last 5 minutes, dude. If you're still even conscious after yucking it up so hard, look how funny we are now without any of your fancy comedy school. It wasn't Joe. No one said that. Our fans are very nice.
A ride that makes you laugh so hard you vomit and pass out.
That's like any Adam Sandler movie.
It is just Click.
It's just Click.
It's just Click.
That you vomit and have a seizure. It's just the scene in Click where he's fat and they're like, look how fat he is. Isn't that funny?
And he's like, what?
He's like, I'm fat. I can't be fat. I'm Adam Sandler. Should we talk about the movie or like?
What? You okay, right?
I'm Johnny Utah.
Could you imagine if they cast Adam Sandler instead of Keanu Reeves and he does his like Billy Madison?
Wait, Billy Madison, or either I can do the Water Boy, or was it Billy Madison where he's like, oh, Water Boy.
Yeah, that's Billy Madison.
Mama says Robin Banks is the devil.
This is the worst podcast ever. Okay. Who has Ryan? Synopsis?
Is it me? It's a replacement.
I remember. Okay, I remember. Yeah. Jace, you got PB.
I got PB. It's my personal best. Point break.
Nice.
Do I just go? You think I should just go?
You can
Get
just
into
go.
it?
You can go if you want. If you're ready. If you're ready for the synopsis.
Okay, so Point Break is a movie, and the cast of the movie is Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, Gary Busey, Lori Petty, John C. McGinley, James LeGros, John Philbin, Bo Jesse Christopher,
I'm not recognizing a lot of these guys.
Vincent Klin, Chris Peterson, Anthony Kiedis, Dave Olson,
Anthony Kiedis,
Julie Michaels, Kimberly Martin,
I don't know that.
Gloria
Mann,
Mann,
either.
Galen Gord.
I don't know if is there this many people in?
I was just reading IMDb. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say I forget that we're 9 episodes in Keanu Reeves, but maybe we should say we're watching 10 Keanu Reeves movies. We're Good Boys Gone Bland. We marathon 10 movies of a single subject or actor.
Yes.
This is number 9.
Number 9.
We haven't done that in a while, but I feel like our fans kind of know. But like for the newbies who like Point Break and they just want to check us out.
Ooh, hopefully it's a lot of people.
I hope so. Maybe some surf. We haven't gotten into the surf demographic yet, and I think this is going to be the break.
That's our final
the break
demographic
point for us. Yeah. Sorry, Jace, please.
So movie, there are, normally more than one person in it, but I did what you did. I wrote a little bit.
Okay, pre-written. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, just because I realized that sometimes I ramble, and then I listen to that rambling, and I'm like, that is innate nonsense, Jace. Just write down some thoughts about the movie before it. So, Point Break, actually starring Patrick Swayze, Keanu Reeves, Lori Petty, and Gary Busey. Keanu Reeves is playing Johnny Utah, a kind of straight-shooting new FBI agent who's just moved to L.A. He's partnered with the kind of geriatric bottom-of-the-barrel investigator, Angelo Papas, played by Gary Busey. And they're looking for a group of president-guised bank robbers who only strike during the summer. And Angelo Daddy's theory is that they're surfers. So Keanu goes on to steal waves from some locals. He meets Lori Petty's character, Tyler Endicott, who teaches him to surf, gets him in with the crew of Bodie, sexy-ass Patrick Swayze. And what follows is 1.5 hours of crackpot 90s action in which Keanu joins the gang, chases the adrenaline dragon, and eventually turns on his would-be pals to close out the case.
Love it, Jace. That was great.
It's a surfing and FBI movie. That's all
great.
you need to know, really.
It's fucking amazing. Directed by Catherine Bigelow. Then wife of James Cameron. Great director. Hurt Locker. Bunch of other ones. That's one I can think of the top of my head. I'm not that good with director stuff. But legendary director. Catherine Bigelow.
Did she do Zero Dark 30?
I think she did. I think that's like one of the other ones that I know of Catherine Bigelow. I'm like on the IMDb trying to like look it up real quick because I think this is her big break. This was her first movie.
It's her big point break.
Catherine Bigelow did Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30, K-19, The Widowmaker. She's done a lot of shit.
I don't know if I've seen any of those movies.
A lot of these are dadcore movies.
Well, this one.
I mean, is this a dad? Yes, it is. And I fucking loved it.
This is dadcore. My God.
This movie made thousands of dads question their sexuality.
100%. Because like right out of the gate, you have Keanu soaking wet in the rain, wearing a skin-tight t-shirt, fucking ripped as hell.
My God.
One hand pumping a shotgun, and then like hitting like 100 targets, and they're like, 100% Johnny Utah, good job.
He's like,
and then he gives a thumbs up. He's like chewing gum, and I'm like, this is the most Chad fucking dude I've ever seen. Like, incredible intro. And his name's Johnny Utah. Are you kidding me, dude?
Can we talk about that? Like,
yeah.
How obvious of a fake name that is.
It's like Joe Montana. It's like the...
Right, he's from Ohio. It's like, Johnny Utah, where you from? Ohio. And they don't, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
That's just the way the movie is. It's like exists in this other world.
Ohio State Buckeyes. He was a star quarterback.
Okay, yeah. Does this need to be mentioned?
A replacement, same universe?
It's the same team.
Same team. And then they also played the Sugar Bowl in
this one I think it was like the Cotton Bowl or something.
Wait. In this one, Bodie mentions that he played the Sugar Bowl and biffed it. However,
I don't think it was okay.
He didn't say he biffed it.
I think it was
he said he got fucked up in the fourth quarter.
He hurt his knee. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. But I think they did say a different game. I think they said like the Cotton Bowl or something.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to look that up because I remember Sugar Bowl because in the replacements they did talk about a Sugar Bowl, but it was the '95 Sugar Bowl, which hasn't happened yet.
It's just really strange that he took those roles 10 years apart, and they both mentioned him being a quarterback in one of the bowl games.
Okay,
and getting injured.
You're right. I looked it up. It's the Rose Bowl.
Oh, okay.
He blew out his knee in the late game and became an FBI agent instead. But yeah, it is weird. And this is also, I think, how many Johns has he played so far?
Wow.
We got John Constantine, Johnny Mnemonic, Johnny Utah, John Wick.
Is that his contract? He's like,
I gotta be a John.
If you don't name me John in the movie, you're paying 20%
his name
more.
John Anderson in The Matrix?
Tom Anderson was close. I just think he seems like a regular. He's good at playing a regular dude. I think an everyman. Jonathan Harker.
Oh, you're right. Dracula.
Well,
he was a John, wasn't he, in Lake House?
Why have I not made this connection until now? And
he looks like a John.
He looks like Keanu Reeves.
He looks like Keanu Reeves, but yeah.
He also looks like a Johnny Utah. Like, that's an amazing name.
Fuck. Yeah. 100%.
Just like the Swayze looks like Patrick Swayze. Like, you
100%.
could convince me that no other person is named Patrick Swayze.
Than Patrick Swayze. Keanu's intro, where like the FBI chief is like, "Oh, you can't be doing drugs, you can't be doing alcohol, anything." He's like, "Sir, I take the skin off chicken." And I was like, "This
so
dude,
good.
It's so good." He's so full of great lines in this movie too, like Speed. Another Los Angeles police adjacent for this one movie for the old Keanu as well. I think like he's playing it differently from Speed as well. Like
yes.
He's, we can talk about, but he's got a little bit of the Teddergy in here, but then he kind of turns it off because there was that little callback scene where he's talking to the surfers and he's like, "Oh, hey dude, you mind if I take some hair?" Or like he kind of does that thing, and then he walks away and his face changes and he plays it straight for the rest of the time. And I think that was a little bit of a wink at being like, yeah, he's that guy, but now he's not right now in this movie.
Right. The thing about playing an undercover agent,
Yeah.
and this is true from like all movies, right, where you have an actor who in the movie is acting. There are some actors who are not that great at acting.
Right.
What's name? I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to use a placeholder name. Like, let's say his name is Keanu Reeves.
Hey, okay.
So
Random name.
Right. So Keanu Reeves, his character might be really good at acting. This might present a challenge for Keanu Reeves, to go 2 layers deep and try and be double good acting.
And act like he's acting.
Yeah, because the audience has to know that he's acting.
That's right. So maybe he's actually a better actor than we think.
He's a great liar,
Right.
in this movie. Straight-faced.
He doesn't even
and
flinch.
very
Yeah.
believable every time he tells a story.
It's like the opposite of Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's a very, very good actor who's playing someone who's bad at acting.
So you're saying Keanu's a bad actor who's playing someone who's good at acting? Because I think he did. It was an uneven performance in this movie. I think at the end, the very, very end scene, which we can get to later, but at least I think it was obvious that was the first scene they filmed because he has like the longer hair and his lines are extremely awkward in that scene. But I think the rest of the movie, I think he kind of comes together a little bit. I think there's moments where he's good, and I think moments where it's uneven a little bit.
Fine. You can be.
I don't
can
know.
have
I mean,
that opinion.
yeah, I think he's gotten better as an actor, and this is early on in his career. This is him in 1992, where he's just breaking into the action roles. Like, this is, I think, his first action movie he's ever done. And, I think this is the hottest Keanu we've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
This is
Might be the hottest cast of
Yeah.
a movie. I know.
Pound for
And I know
pound.
we've
Yeah.
seen some pretty hot
We've
casts.
seen. We have reviewed. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Patrick
Yeah.
Swayze was 38 in this movie. And I was like,
that's
holy
insane.
shit. If I can look like that at 38, I'm set.
Both these dudes shredded, surfing. And first of all, like, am I supposed to believe that Keanu doesn't know how to surf in this movie?
Right.
With him
Okay, so
talking
this is
like
the
that
This is the other funny
looking
part,
like
too,
that?
because,
Yeah.
like, I've mentioned this before, actually, but in the Always Sunny podcast, they did they're like, why did they pick Keanu Reeves to pretend to not know how to surf? What? Me? A surfer?
I've never surfed in my life, bruh. Did they mention that in that podcast, too? Because that was...
Yeah, they did this exact riff. They were like, why did they pick Keanu Reeves? Why does he not, like, adjust his acting style?
Well, I did read, though, despite that, because I did think that, and I read it before we did this episode, that he had never surfed before in real life. Like, he actually hasn't surfed. And even though he's, like, from... I think his family's from Hawaii? And then, he spent a long time in SoCal, in Hollywood, and this dude never surfed. Like, if I thought any actor ever has surfed, it's this guy.
And the Sways.
And the Swayze. The Swayze, I think, has surfed. Has he?
Sways has done it all, baby.
Swayze has done it.
Swayze got into some disputes with insurance companies because of how many of the stunts he wanted to do in this movie.
I heard about it because he was doing he was trying to do the
Yeah.
skydiving. The Swayze man was bringing it. Was this your guys' first watch through as well?
I've
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely seen parts of this before, and I've were they talking about this? And It's Always Sunny because of the gunshots into the air scene.
Oh, yeah.
Foot
That's
chase,
definitely, yeah. Well, that's in
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz, too. Like, so many other movies spoof that scene, and I have never seen the original.
Ooh.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
But I've seen it in Hot Fuzz where they're like, they do this exact same bit. But if we talk about that chase scene for a minute, like, it's a masterclass in how to do a chase scene, I think.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's just phenomenal. The one thing I would say is it's so long that about 2 or 3 minutes into the chase scene, I was like, how funny would it be if the next 45 minutes, like the remainder of this movie, is just chase scene, and they're just running around LA, going into a different house.
It was so
and they
well
just do
set.
that for like literally for like another hour.
that would be amazing. I mean, I guess the last part of it is a chase. It's just off camera.
So
Where he's like, I've been chasing you for a year.
if
Yeah.
if you had to make a list of items for the perfect chase scene, like so location.
Okay.
Where do you think? Like tight knit inner city, like we got here, or do you have a preference?
I liked going through all the yards and the rooms of the houses where it's like
Yeah.
he's like they're just cramming through it, pushing extras out of the way, and they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like that was fun.
So and then
So-
daytime, do you think like they did this one in daytime or nighttime? If you two had to formulate a chase scene, daytime chase?
Oh,
Daytime
daytime,
chase.
100%. I mean, it's too logistically difficult.
Yeah.
And plus,
And is-
my other favorite chase? I just want to say this because that answers both your questions, Chase. Terminator 2, same neighborhood
Oh,
during the day.
oh shit. Oh, word.
okay. And then final question.
Yeah.
Is one too many or too few dogs punted? Should you drop kick more or
number
less dogs than they did in this movie?
How many? Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. Like, okay, so get this. Let's paint a picture. Okay, Keanu Reeves is running through house after house after. We're viewing the movie through his perspective, really. He's chasing the guy in the mask, who he doesn't know is the Swayze man. We don't really know that either. But he's chasing the guy through the neighborhood. Oh, he Ferris Bueller's it a little bit. He, they do the house thing, everything like that. And Swayze sometimes will run through a house and like throw chairs down, or like latch a sliding glass door and Keanu has to like bust through it, and like those kind of things that are all chase scenes. But one of the traps that Patrick Swayze sets for Keanu Reeves is he picks up
This fucking pit bull.
a giant pit bull guard dog and waits for Keanu Reeves to come around a corner.
It's a good
and
trap.
then just hucks the thing at Keanu Reeves, and it only attacks Keanu,
And
And then he punts.
I think
and he kicks it.
if you're gonna punt a dog, at least, I mean, they did it twice in the movie. He like throws the dog and then Keanu drop kicks it. I think they need to do at least 5 more dogs just to make it like if that's the movie's thing, and then it's excusable. They'd be like, okay, they punted 7 dogs. Obviously, they're doing a shtick. But if you punt like 1 dog or do it twice, I think it's too low and it's too shocking.
I think that was the most unbelievable thing in this entire movie was how far that
Okay.
dog flew when he punted.
It was a fake dog. Like they did assure that it was a fake dog for the scene. It was like a doll, and then there was like a trained dog actor.
Of course,
that
of course.
the
But
dog was fine.
I can overlook literally every other scene in this movie.
I'm gonna pause for a second. Okay, I want to rewatch this scene. There's a thing on YouTube. Keanu Reeves punts dog. I need to get it back in my brain so I can talk about it.
Because I'm like,
Dude,
if Patrick Swayze, like,
he
kept,
literally he punts.
if he kept just throwing dogs at Keanu, like next yard, throws another
Yeah.
dog, and Keanu has to punt it, throws another dog, and there's 7 dogs. There's like, he's grabbing every single dog in that whole neighborhood, and throwing it on Keanu over and over again. Then it's kind of like a funny thing, and it's kind of like, oh, these dogs are okay.
Yeah, but that's like hot shots. That's like
Yeah.
spoof status.
Another dog. It was a little shocking, okay? Utah didn't have to kick it. Like,
He did not.
And it was unnecessary, right? Like,
Yeah.
you could just off screen. You could just be like, okay, yeah, he got away from the dog.
yeah, they
Also, that's not a puntable dog.
it's not a puntable dog. And they did a lot of voiceovers in this movie, which I think is another topic where, they kind of do a lot of overdubs in the surf scene. And they did an overdub of Patrick Swayze to kind of make him not a piece of shit when he's leaving his friend, where he's like right by his friend's dead body and they're like, we have to bury him. No, we can't. Oh, okay. And he runs off. I feel like you could do that in the dog scene. Keanu punts and he's like, oh, I hate punting dogs. Hope he's okay. And then keeps running. And I feel like you could have included that in the scene to make it okay.
It's so specific. Oh, I hate punting dogs.
Or a characterization. Oh, I hate dogs. Dogs ate my parents. And then you have a little bit of sympathy for his character.
And then later
Or like,
on, he's like, just kidding. My parents are alive in Dayton, Ohio. I lied
Oh,
because I'm a
shit.
good actor.
And I love dogs.
Except that dog in particular.
I was undercover.
As a dog,
Diplomatic immunity.
it was part of my undercover identity is that I kick dogs. Hope that dog was fine, guys. I don't want to make anyone concerned. I loved and people talk about the bromance of this movie. This is like one of the ultimate bromance movies. It was passionate, It was like they're kind of in the honeymoon stage of the bromance, I feel. Where it's kind of all exciting. It's like when you meet a new friend and, you guys have like the same interest and it's all, it's crazy circumstance. It's all passion. But then, after a while, you kind of realize that one of them's, into kind of weird incel stuff. And you shared a few weird IG posts about vaccines and stuff. And now you're not so sure you should be hanging out so much. And I feel like that's kind of like Bodhi's character.
One, it sounds like this happened to you recently. Two, he really was just trying. I think he was trying to get Keanu to break and join them for the whole second half of the movie. Like, I know he was using Tyler as bait, and I don't know if I was supposed to feel this way. I thought Bodhi the whole time was kind of like, we can still get him to join the crew.
I feel like he was holding out a little bit that Keanu might join. Like, he was trying to convert him. And I feel like there's a reality. It's a little bit of a delusional thing because Bodhi is a little bit delusional. But you know, I think there was a part of Keanu that wanted to go out and just live that bohemian freestyle life. He could, like, the way he talks, like he could like kind of lead you into.
That's the scary part, right? He did a very good job of being like cult leader.
Yeah, totally. And that was kind of his vibe too, because he's convincing all of these surfer bros to do these crazy ass things. And he gave that one speech by the campfire where he's like, fuck the system. You know, this is what we do. Like, we're not like those people on the freeways and shit. Like, you know, we're traveling the world. We're going to fucking rob these banks. And I think there is a reality where you have Bodhies out there. Like, Amber and I went to Ojai, California, which is like a hippie commune for Valentine's Day. Like, we saw a lot of like aging hippies who were trying to be like Bodhi. I feel like a lot of those kind of libertarian type fuck everyone hippies kind of have that mentality. And if Bodhi was around right now, like, I feel like he would be like one of those crazy anti-vax crystal healer people, frankly. Like, I got that a lot from his character watching this. I don't know, like, how do you think like Bodhi would post on like Instagram and Facebook? I could just see that from him.
There's actually an interesting corollary to real life. There's this guy who maybe he wasn't into like crystals and stuff like we were saying, but he was known for being a traveler. He would travel on his own and would go to like the Himalayas or Amazon and things like that, or Patagonia. And he would come back and post on Instagram like these awesome photos of him like in these cool places, and he's like attractive and he's kind of ripped and stuff. Yeah. And then one trip in the Himalayas, he never came back.
Okay.
And it's kind of like almost like a McCandless situation, but we don't know. There's not like a diary or something like that. So I could imagine him being like a travel influencer sort of person.
Oh, totally.
The things that he does are up the alley of the portal into somebody's life that people like to see on Instagram. It's like,
exactly.
Wow, look at what he's doing.
I mean, but people ride. Obviously, this is like a small microcosm in this movie, but like they're literal professional big wave riders who are riding waves that are like the size that are at the end of this movie.
No, totally. Yeah.
Maybe is he that good at surfing?
Probably not.
Is he that good?
Could you imagine if that was really a thing back then? And they're like, "Oh, he sucks. He kind of has this. He tries. He's here, but
his second introduction." Because his first introduction is where he's hanging out with Keanu Reeves, and they bond over the football scene, which was kind of like the Top Gun volleyball scene in many ways.
Oh, yeah.
But his second introduction, where Keanu is at the shower, and Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers and the rest of the neo-Nazis like are jumping him, and then Bodhi like gives this threatening line where he's just like, "Whoa, back off, war child, seriously." Like, that was just funny.
The delivery.
Yeah.
Was so man, I grew up in a hippie town.
Yeah.
I went to college in a hippie town, and like that exact two names, like war child, right?
Yeah.
That was obviously like a kind of a, tough guy, but like I remember going to like someplace and having someone's name being like Leaf Flower or Moonrise and things like that, and it sounded so peaceful. He came in and was trying to be peacemaker, even though he's turned out to be like a badass, like Patrick Swayze always is. He's like the same character in Roadhouse, essentially.
Yeah, him knowing Kung Fu totally made sense in that scene for some reason, where he was just like whooping their ass. And then they made a Roadhouse reference in that movie. Did you catch that?
Did they explicitly reference Roadhouse?
Gary Busey's character was naming a bunch of stuff that was nearby, and then he was like, "Oh yeah," and then the Patrick's Roadhouse down the street.
Oh.
He says
really?
that to Keanu, and I was like, I wonder if Ryan, I think Roadhouse came out like the year before or something.
Oh
like that.
man, I love
Or
Roadhouse.
recent.
We gotta do a Roadhouse season.
Roadhouse season. Wait, we just
What the
watched
fuck
Roadhouse?
is Roadhouse?
Watch Roadhouse 10 times.
I only know it from the Family Guy scene. It's a Patrick Swayze movie, I think, and I guess there's roundhouse kicking in it.
Hey,
Yeah. He plays a guy named Roadhouse.
hot
Yeah,
take here. It's Keanu's fault that all the people died in this movie.
Okay.
Much like with I think it was the Lake House. What movie did we watch with the anti-union propaganda? Was that last?
That was
The
Replacements.
Replacements.
Oh yeah, literally last week with the Replacements. They've successfully robbed 30 banks without ever killing anybody. And the one that they bring Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves to is the one where
Yeah.
like a cascade of deaths follow.
Because it's basically the cops that ruined everything. Because there was the cop guy who made the bank thing go south because he wanted to be a cowboy. And then Keanu trying to infiltrate this. He actually fucked up a couple things. He got everyone killed in the first raid. That didn't need to happen. And then he got everybody killed in this. Yeah, I think you're right. So maybe this is kind of like an ACAB movie where he didn't.
Oh god.
He didn't need to fucking do anything.
So I'm kind of siding with, some banks weren't hurting losing a few $1,000s.
It was insured.
That's the thing.
Fuck him.
So this is the thing too.
Yeah.
In any sort of these situations, never, ever resist.
Oh yeah,
Like-
fuck that.
No, never, ever, ever do it. The banks, number one, you don't care about the bank. Like,
Fuck the bank.
Fuck the bank.
number one, fuck the bank. Number two, all the accounts are federally insured. Like,
Yeah.
literally, the federal government insures every single bank account.
I don't
So
even want to
it's-
be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Who goes to a bank? And like any one of these situations where you're beget by like a criminal, violence, fighting back, standing your ground or whatever with a gun is never the right situation. And so like in a way Keanu was there, but he didn't do anything to make that cop like, try to
Draw.
save the day. In fact,
Yeah.
he even said, federal police, I'm undercover.
Yeah.
And he still shot Keanu.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one wasn't Keanu's fault. Keanu did fuck up that first raid though, and got all those guys killed.
Yeah, oh totally.
Okay, that was a bit. But Ryan, that's a good point. He did. It wasn't his fault for the rest of Bodhi's crew and everybody else who died. But it was one of the cops' faults. So if everyone just let these guys rob the banks, they would have had a sick time surfing. The banks would have gotten fucked. So fuck the banks. And then I think it all worked
What
out.
was the I've been toiling with it and it just wasn't
Yeah.
entirely clear to me. What was the point of going to the vault in this last one? Is it because they
Yeah, because he always
It's just to
says
get more money.
I know
We don't do
but
the vault.
it became uncharacteristic to the point where Keanu's
Yeah.
character even points it out. He's like, "You're breaking your own rules." Da, da, da.
Mhm.
Is it just because of the intensity of the situation and where things have got, where Brody has had one of his side characters kidnap Tyler?
I think
I think that's basically what I got out of it, Jace. Like everybody's just so riled up.
mhm.
Stuff happens.
I thought the implication, and yeah, I think so too, right? Like probably like the nerves. The implication I thought was this was their last heist. It's the last
Yeah.
job, and maybe he's like, I'm gonna make it count because people. I'm burning bridges. They know who I am now. Like the cops know. Keanu knows who I am. So this is gonna be the last heist. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here and get the vault, which I think ultimately fucks him over.
Man, that would take like 5 seconds to say
In the movie, like if Brody was like,
in the movie.
"This is the last,"
Not you, Denali.
This is the last job. Oh yeah,
I'm not- I'm not
I was confused. I was like, what?
and I guess it makes sense because they've come to a. The reason it's confusing to me is Patrick Swayze's character Bodhi says, "We've been doing this for 30 years, or we've hit 30 banks. The game is changing. This is just the next evolution." And that's when he says to Keanu, "Why live by the law when you can control it?" Again, why I think he was trying to convert him to like still trying to be, come with us. And I'm wondering then why he knew the 50-year storm was coming. Did he think he was going to die in that wave even if he made it there?
I think a part of he did say explicitly when he was talking about the 50-foot wave that he wanted to get to was that he was like, that is the way I want to go. Like he straight up said that, where he's like doing what I love, and all of them were like, hell yeah, brother, like and maybe part of him was okay with that, like that could happen to him. And maybe him being there at the end, seeing the wave, he was like, I ain't making it through that, but fuck jail. So
well, yeah, so
and
that makes
kinda-
it make sense. He pushed them to go to the vault because he knew, even more so based on the events of the movie, that this was the last ride.
The last ride.
Cool.
That's all he's trying to catch, the big
Fuck
ride.
yeah, I love that. Okay.
Fuck yeah. Ryan, this might be a question for, first of all, you are a lawyer, but you're not giving any legal advice on the podcast, which you've always been explicit about.
Oh no, yeah. My don't fight back is in no way related to any
This is
form of
just
law. It's
Ryan
don't
the civilian.
get you and your friends killed.
Yes, this is just Ryan the podcaster, and there's. I was wondering the scene where he like shoots in the air, right? And there's a couple other scenes where he's like shooting at Patrick Swayze's character. They can't just start blasting like that, right? Like when they're running
Maybe
away.
in the 90s.
Okay. So that is a very interesting question, and that's what
And relevant.
my biggest takeaway
Yeah.
from the movie, right, was like, this is just an action movie.
Yeah.
It's not a movie about by the books police just trying to get their guy. This is an action movie, and the main character is a cop who wants to be in the action. You absolutely should not fire at people who are running away.
Yeah, they was like, there's no reason to shoot that guy. Like, why are they shooting him?
So the situation is, at least from the federal constitutional level,
Okay.
because it's different in every other state, but it's about how police determine whether or not the person fleeing is a danger to society.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's like a credible reason to think that if these people get away, then they're going to harm society, they're going to hurt someone, like it's a life and death situation for someone else out there, they can employ essentially deadly force against a fleeing person, is my understanding of it. The caveat is this comes from a case where there's an unarmed dude running away who just gets freaking executed by the cops. And the Supreme Court says, no, you can't do that, but you can do this other stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's a really weird area of law, right? Because the Supreme Court goes through its phases of like putting controls on police and then kind of like maybe writing in the details on those controls, and the, clear and present threat to, actual other people, to the public, is
Bullets
kind
falling
of a
from the
gray
sky.
area where like, well, well, like, okay, they're bank robbers. They have guns.
Yeah.
They're speeding through town. Like, so shooting at them, even though they're leaving, is that, like, what does that amount to? I don't know the answer to that question. There might-
8 civilians.
yeah, there might be a black and white answer to it, but that's a problem, right? Because whenever you discharge your weapon, it needs to be with intent to kill.
Mm-hmm.
That's very clear. The universal standard is there's no shooting to wound, there's only shooting to kill. So like, if you're not gonna hit the guy that you're actually targeting, the dude, what are you hitting? You're shooting to kill, but you're not shooting at the bad guy. So it's this weird area where it's frowned upon, right? It's really frowned upon.
Yeah, they shouldn't be shooting their guns like that. Like
Don't do it at a car that's going away. Like, you see this in every single action movie. Don't shoot at a car that's driving away.
Yeah, I mean, after like all these conversations that's been happening like right now about this stuff,
Right.
watching this movie, I was like, fuck, because they're pulling out of the bank and Keanu just pulls out his gun and just empties the entire clip at the car. And I'm like, why did you need to shoot these guys? I think that's kind of what I was getting at. And I think I knew you would have a perspective to sum it up in a really a great way. So totally, dude. Like watching an action movie, I hate that it yanked me out where I was thinking about the real world. I couldn't have the sense of escapism I get with an action movie. Seeing that, where I was just like, fuck, like this makes me think about the legitimate, serious problems we have in our society. I'm sure Keanu Reeves didn't mean to do that. But yeah, I think it is a movie where maybe...
Oh, let's be clear. He was told what to do.
He was told to do this in the movie. But yeah, maybe some people could see this movie and be like, yeah, that's what I want to fucking do. And I'm gonna when I get a gun, I'm gonna fucking be a cowboy and just shoot shit like that. And
right.
That's the shitty thing about these movies. Yeah, the ending of this movie is pretty cool, guys.
Probably the worst ending of a movie I've ever seen in my life.
You didn't like the ending?
What? I loved it.
I love
thought
the
it was-
ending. Wait, you didn't like it?
Felt
Okay.
like, it's a good thing that you said, oh, it was probably the first scene that they filmed. To me, it felt like, we ran out of budget. Go get in the wave and die.
Oh man.
Which, and I thought I don't know. I must have like misremembered it. I thought like when the confrontation happened, Bodhi was out on the water on a surfboard, and Keanu Reeves goes out there on a surfboard too to see him in the big wave.
And they fight on
and
surfboards?
they fought, and then he ran out. And I was expecting that, and I got let down because he fucking handcuffs him, and then lets him go. And he's like, "He's not coming back."
Shit, that's really interesting, dude.
Hilarious.
I like it. Like it's resolved without.
Yeah.
It's resolved. Like
Yeah.
That's what I like so much is that there's not a sequel coming. There's not like there's a reboot, but
I don't get why we are literally set up through the story to see that Keanu Reeves cares about solving this case, and he doesn't solve the case because whether or not he flew to Australia, the guy was gonna die in the wave.
I mean,
What
I
was
think
he looking
Jace,
for?
okay, so Jace, I think it's more about like a personal thing. He scoured the globe, is what we're told.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like he scoured the globe. Like not the LA FBI. Like he was looking for this dude, and he wanted to catch him. He wanted to beat him. I mean, he might have actually lost the fist fight, but he still got him. He still cuffed him. And it was Keanu's decision to let him go, right? Like, it's like catching a fish and letting it go. Like, you still caught the fish.
But I think he let him go. He decided at the last second. Like, I don't think it was already in his head that he was going to let him
I
go.
think I can agree with that. I just, like...
Yeah. It wasn't satisfying.
There
to
was
you.
no
Like, it was-
form
yeah.
of... he knew he was going to die if he goes into the wave. Does that resolve Keanu's sense of justice for the people that died? Like...
Dude, he emptied a clip into this dude's car,
Yeah,
like for
that's
robbing a bank.
really good
I think
point,
for him,
Jace. That's actually a really interesting point, right? Because like, what's justice?
To scour the entire globe for him, and then I think even that was confusing because the follow line, like, he knew where he would be. He talked about the 50-year storm.
Well, I think that was part of his character development at the very end. Because the last thing he does is, in the most 90s thing ever, throw his badge into the ocean.
I forgot about
and the wind's blowing through his hair. And I think in that moment, I think he makes that decision of being kind of a free spirit like Bodhi, where he's like, come on, man, let me just surf this one last wave. And I think in that moment, he stops becoming a cop and becomes kind of like Bodhi.
I'm going to unfortunately say that I think I might have turned to take a bite of taco and missed the badge throwing thing because I was like, how is he going to answer to his boss when he's just like, he goes back to work on Monday like, I knew he was going to die. His boss like, we have to prosecute him. Why did we spend millions of dollars sending you and that entire team to Australia if you just let him die in the wave?
Jace, I think if Keanu was listening and he just knew that you missed it because you're taking a bite out of a delicious taco, I think he would forgive you because that's the only reason to miss the
Live
scene.
Moss, baby.
Live Moss.
What was it with the misplaced
Keanu's-
Spanish? Vaya con
Okay,
Dios.
that was a sick line.
Go
Vaya
with
con
God.
Dios was... I loved that line when he says it to Patrick Swayze. Amber audibly laughed when he said that because it was a weird delivery. But I thought it was great, man. Fuck.
There was like, he's from Ohio. There were like 2 scenes in this movie where he uses Spanish phrases.
Well, we know Spanish. We lived in
There's
Alaska.
a lot of
We
Spanglish
know.
going around
Yeah.
LA as well.
But Vaya con Dios is a badass phrase
sure.
to say to someone who's gonna like go off into the sea. Like and then he surfs the last wave. Like I already knew about this ending ahead of time because it's a cliched thing because it came from this movie. So maybe in my head I was like building that myth in my head where I was like, oh
I didn't
shit.
I didn't
one
know
last
anything
wave.
about this movie except for the skydiving scene, which we haven't talked about yet.
Oh fuck! It was so good. Shit, we gotta wrap this review up though, man. We got so we can talk about a skydiving scene.
Yeah.
we got it.
So they totally
Yeah.
juked me because I knew about the skydiving scene, and then it turns out there's 2 skydiving scenes. And the one I knew about was the second one. So like, thanks to Julie, and we were both watching, and I was like, "You know about this scene?" And she's like, no. I'm like, it's crazy. And then it was just a normal skydiving scene. And
She's like, I guess it was cool.
She looked at me and I was like, I don't know. I guess I'm wrong.
That's hilarious. Wait, so you were hyping it up and it was a regular scene of them skydiving with parachutes.
Yeah. Because the scene I knew was the second one where I didn't know that it was
yeets out of a plane with no parachute.
He just jumps out of a plane with no parachute.
Sick.
That was awesome. That
was the most heavy metal stuff, dude. Oh.
That was good. And the skydiving scene was beautiful too, like long shots of like the surrounding thing. Like
very
I felt
cinematic,
like,
very like I mean, a long way for character development too. They were planning on burning this dude, and they still wanted to include him in their skydiving circle.
Yeah, they really built the tension of like being like, oh, we didn't pack your parachute right, we're gonna kill this guy, but instead they made it a sweet bonding experience, and it shows Bodhi really maybe wanted him to feel that awakening.
Yeah, but for the people who maybe haven't seen the movie and are thinking about watching it, you get through an hour of this 2-hour movie, and the bad guys find out that Keanu Reeves is an FBI agent, and there's still an hour worth of movie.
They found out shockingly early in the movie.
Yeah, so I think the first skydiving scene is like at an hour, and you're like,
I think so.
It's very good tension.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna give him the wrong. I thought that what was gonna
I did
happen
too.
was they give him the parachute that's purposely packed wrong, that doesn't open, and he has to ditch it and go grab onto someone else.
I thought that was going to happen. But he did it in the second one, actually.
He did it in the second one, the second skydiving scene where he just jumps out,
But that was his own fault. He purposely didn't pack his own parachute.
Oh, totally.
that.
And that's the cool, brave part, right? He jumps out of a plane knowing he has no parachute.
That was so sick.
That's the character moment that we're looking for.
Yeah. Him going like, fuck, and then just jumps after Patrick Swayze, and then hits him. And then Swayze being like, I'm not pulling the chute, you're gonna have to pull it and lose the gun. Like, oh, dude, like, him and Swayze's interplay, or Swayze saying like, you and me, Johnny, like, we're riding this to the end. I just loved shit like that there.
Once in my life,
Yeah.
guys, please, once in my life, I want to say, and completely mean it and have it be appropriate for the situation, say, you and me, Johnny.
We're riding this to the end, or just you and me, Johnny.
Just you and me, Johnny.
You and me, Johnny's good. It's good. Do you guys wanna get into your Keanometers?
There's
got anything
honestly
else,
so much.
There's
We
so
didn't
much.
get
Yeah.
the,
There's
so much
the
to talk
bust of the Nazi dudes. Great. Everything. Yeah.
That was a great scene. Yeah.
Shit.
Shocking violence.
Yeah.
Like when it happens, it happens. It's
I
like,
was
whoa.
very surprised.
There's a lawnmower thing. Keanu almost got his face lawnmower.
Oh man.
Oh man, that almost had me looking away, dude.
You thought his face would actually get lawnmowered and the roll credits.
No, I thought he was gonna do like a sick karate reverse that he learned.
And
from
then
Swayze.
throw the other. Oh man.
Throw the other guy.
Yeah.
That was
Or
a
like
Chekhov's
A
lawnmower.
hand would get caught.
Yeah, because you thought someone was gonna go through it because when it was on, as soon as it was on, like as soon as
And
Amber.
Gary Busey just shows up and shoots the lawnmower.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a way better way of handling that situation than shooting it with a gun.
Well,
I mean, but this is one of those movies where they just
Ow.
use a gun for everything. Like there's a light switch, you shoot the light switch, and then you know.
Good
they're like-
night.
They're like, oh, can you get me one of those sandwiches? And they, just shoot the sandwich off the counter, and then he eats it. And he's like driving the car, and he's like shooting the steering wheel both different directions to steer. And then he's like, oh, I gotta hit the brakes. And he shoots the brake pad, or shoots the pedal.
is that a deli dude? Shit. No, I can't. And
Grape man. Instead of shooting guns, he shoots grapes out of his fingers.
Wait, hang on. No, there's another. We are doing another gun thing though. We have quick
Yeah.
draw. You're gonna put in
okay,
Grape
never
Man.
mind. Never mind. Skip
Grape
past
man's,
it.
Grape man's way powerful than Quick Draw. Quick Draw's just a
Yeah,
dude.
have you seen those videos where people like shoot grapes out of their mouth into somebody else's mouth?
No.
I don't visit the types of
It's been
websites that
popular.
you visit.
It was a TikTok trend. But like he could always be
Once
eating
again.
grapes, and instead of gun finger shooting them, he could be like,
Yeah. He pops them out really
Yeah.
hard,
That's the same thing. That's the same thing. It's just a normal guy.
but it's in his mouth.
so it's like you're gonna get a little bit of saliva on you and get hit with a grape.
And he has to walk around with a thing of grapes.
Yeah, he's like he's tied up. The bad guy's got him tied up. His arms are behind his back. They're like, "We got you now, grape mouth shooter." And then he's trying to whisper something like, "What's that?" And he gets closer and he pops the grape out, goes through the guy's ear, fucking kills him, grabs the keys, gets out, and he picks up the grape again because he
Yeah.
needs another one. And then he does it again. It was kind of gross.
Wait. What?
the
He uses
same
a grape the first time, and there are no grapes around.
Yeah.
So he has to use an eyeball that just shot out of the dude's head.
Oh, that's gross.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say bullet. He just grabs a bullet.
No, he can't. It's not. It's a
He
different
just shot
shape.
a grape through the guy's head, so he can use them.
Eyeball?
Eyeball's pretty close to a grape. Eyeball's closer than bullet.
I don't know. I've seen some long grapes.
Okay,
Okay.
You
You guys
have
seen those long grapes?
you when you peel grapes and you stick your hands in with the spaghetti and the peeled grapes and they're like, oh, it's guts and eyeballs. Like that's pretty believable.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know what that means.
In haunted houses, man. Shit, let's
Yeah,
do
we should go to
Keanu, man. I love talking about this gosh darn movie, but like we gotta, our audience has got to get home. They got the commutes. They're sitting in their cars listening, waiting for this episode to finish up. No, honey, it's almost over. It's a podcast. It's almost over. The intros are kind of long, but right. What's your Keanu?
That's me.
Yeah.
That's my cue. I think that it would be very difficult to be more Keanu-y than this movie. If I'm rating this just on how Keanu is Keanu, the quantity is almost there. The quantity is like 100%, right?
Yeah.
There's no scenes without him except for like the bank robbing scene. It's really quick. I guess there's a few scenes of like Patrick Swayze talking, but quality-wise, it's no Matrix, right? Like in the Matrix, for some reason, he turned it up. Like there wasn't really a bad line in the Matrix. Call me crazy.
No,
but
I agree.
This movie, there was something off about his delivery. Like right when he gets there, when he's like, "I take the skin off my chicken, sir," and I don't
Forrest
know.
Gump.
Yeah, I don't know what his personality is so on point, obviously, and this more so I think than Speed is Keanu-y. I don't remember what I gave Speed, but I'm gonna have to dock a point for quality. And I'm going to go 9.
That is what you gave Speed.
Damn it. Well, that's fine. It's fine. My same
from the
qualm
record.
as with Speed, really. Yeah.
Jace is like those courtroom typewriter people. What's
Yeah,
those?
can you
what are
read
those
that
called?
back?
What are they called?
Courtroom typewriter.
I don't know. Reporter. We just call them court reporters.
Court reporters? Lame. Just call them typewriter guys.
Are you thinking of the word stenographer?
Oh, stenographer. Yep, that's what I think that's it. I think it's it. Cool. 9. That's high score. That's still high score. Jace, what do you think?
I'm right up there. I think I enjoyed his performance of Johnny Utah more than his Speed performance, to be honest. I think the character had more to work with because you're not confined locally to the types of places that Speed's character was just because of the story. But like just his delivery of his boss is chewing him out and he's like, you haven't done shit. You've been undercover this whole time today. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, I caught my first tube today, sir. It's just like this he hammed it up. And I don't know if he had the say in this movie. Whenever I research a lot of these movies, he has some say. And it's like, oh, I think the character would do this. I think the character would do this. I don't know if he had that in this one, but the writing for the lines and the way he portrayed the character to me were just perfect. So, man, FBI surfer movie, Keanu Reeves, 10. I'm going to give it a 10.
Oh, fuck yeah. Shit, right out of the gate. This is a high Keanu movie, for sure. Like, I don't think...
Literally.
It is a high movie. It's like... when I think about Matrix, I think his performance might have been a little better in Matrix. However, I think I enjoyed this one more. If I had to build my own ideal Keanu movie in a Point Breakless world, I would pick, 1, 90s Keanu, who has his iconic look, his great hair, okay? 2, I would make it an action movie, his forte, okay? And 3, I would have him bring some righteous Cali bro energy, have him literally be a surfer, and have him go through a mind awakening spiritual journey like he does in this movie. I think this is like literally the fucking archetype of Keanu. Like when we think about who Keanu Reeves is in movies, like I think this is literally it. I think this is like pretty much written for him too. Like they said Matthew Broderick, Johnny Depp, and Val Kilmer and Charlie Sheen were originally considered in 1986 when they first pitched this movie. It has Ridley Scott directing, but it like fell through. But when Catherine Bigelow came along, she said she wouldn't do the movie unless Keanu Reeves did it. Like they wanted a different star, but she was like, it has to be fucking Keanu. This is the only dude who can play it. And I think for that, I have to give him big points. For me, this is 10 out of 10. This is a flawless Keanu performance, okay? Like the actor performance, you can say all you want about that. There's articles about the Point Break performance. But in terms of Keanu, if you're looking for a Keanu movie, this is it. This is it. 10.
He's hanging 10 for me too, bro.
Hanging 10.
Oh,
Nice.
that's a good one,
That's
Jace.
good. Yeah.
All right, if we want to go into the actual movie reviews, though, call me crazy, but this segment might be a little bit different of an attitude. I really liked this movie. If I'm rating the movie on like enjoyment, this is one of the movies where like it's maybe a little bit too long. I think there's maybe too much of the Gary Busey character.
I like Gary Busey.
That sentence has been said before many a times. But I really enjoyed watching this movie. The premise is bonkers. The premise is some of the most absolutely crazy stuff ever. I don't know why the ex-president masks for the bank robbers was a thing. It ended up being kind of iconic, I guess, but it took me out of the movie. Like when they were making political jokes or like Nixon references, I thought it dated the movie a little too much, where this could have been kind of almost a timeless surfer movie. Instead, we got like this early 90s, haha, these guys that were presidents recently movie. And I think that, surfing lasts forever, man. Like, Bodhi, that's kind of his whole idea, was that you should not chase corporate life, right? Like, you should chase, like, free-spiritedness. And then he's dressing up like freaking Ronald Reagan. I didn't get it at all. Whatever they were saying, I didn't get. It's a fun movie to watch. So a lot of this movie, especially the surfer scenes, were shot on a very telephoto lens. So there's a lot of foreground that's either skipped or because it's a high vantage point, or compressed if the vantage point is on the same elevation as the surfers. And that was very fun to watch. Unfortunately, it was obviously dubbed. Like, the characters didn't have wireless mics, on their wetsuits or anything like that, which, I mean, every movie would do it like that. But it was pretty obvious when you're dealing with an actor like Keanu Reeves when he's delivering lines in a soundstage and when he's on set. But it was gorgeous. I really liked watching the surfer scenes. In fact, there was like a 4-minute long montage of just surfing. And I didn't have a problem with it, really. I don't watch a lot of surfer movies. Hint, hint. The chase scene blew me away, especially with the climax. I think that's probably the best climax to any chase scene I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was perhaps a little bit too long. Like I mentioned, I thought that they were doing a bit about how long the chase scene was. But the climax to it is the most insane, like, character moment I've ever seen.
They didn't ruin the climax.
They did not ruin the climax. They're not.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought probably the worst moment of the entire movie was the football scene where I like the scene, but the fact that in the football scene, whenever Patrick Swayze or one of his goons would run horizontally, their heads would pass in front of several different car headlights, and it would illuminate their Farrah Fawcett hair like a halo or like a bridal veil, because they have these absolutely wicked hairdos, right? Like Poison, the band, like giant hairdos. And it would illuminate you could see through the hair. And it was the ugliest.
Wait, that's your complaint?
It almost turned me off of the whole Swayze character. Yeah, like, it was... Watch that scene again and notice that, like, the headlights, when they run in front of the cars, you see their skull, like, backlit against the car, and there's just, like, all this, like, frilly hair coming off of it, and it looks like, someone is pressed up against a sheet of wax paper and someone's shining a flashlight behind them.
Are you doing like an Albert Camus' The Stranger thing where you're fixating on like you're mad that the headlights are going through the guy's hair?
Yeah.
That's like a thing that happens all the time, though.
This was really bad.
Huh. Okay. You know what? I'll watch it.
It took me out of the movie.
Okay.
Like, that's what took me out of the movie, was
because you can see their bony
also
skull.
the shooting at people and, like, the hair.
The hair. Okay. The hair looked bad in that scene.
Yeah. Dated the movie
From the 90s.
Okay. I'll look at it.
What are you?
I'll look at it, Ryan. If it bothered Ryan, I should see it. Yeah.
Actually, no,
timelessness,
I
like,
take that
it's
back.
kind
They're a
of-
bunch of plenty of long-haired surfer dudes still. And if they're playing football on a beach, which they can drive up to with their headlights, that's what it's gonna look like if you're looking at the headlights.
Right, but it was like poofed up, like obviously done in a like movie studio hair, like hairspray, combed, like fluffed out.
Ryan.
And it didn't look
Beach
really thin
curls.
until you put a car
Okay.
headlight behind it.
Beach curls, you know?
See, you
They've
didn't
got
like
beach
Fine,
waves. They've
whatever.
got volume because of this.
I'm gonna move on. This to me, I think, is very, very close to a 10,
Okay.
and it's also very, very close to a 5. I don't know what to do with this movie. It made me feel good, but it also made me feel bad. I have to give this movie, I think, an 8. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
It's actually the exact number that I have written down. I'm giving the movie an 8 too. Similarly, the action scenes, the action in the movie is pretty fun. Jumping through windows, tackling bad guys. The scene with the raid on the house, where afterwards they get done and they're like, "He's been working undercover on these guys for 2 months." And the guy's had like a shitty tattoo and has a shitty haircut. And he's like, "You think I like this?" I like the humor a lot. And then a lot of those really long scenes where they took some care to get footage of people surfing was I didn't expect. I mean, I didn't really expect a surfing FBI movie either. But I forget the actor's name, the guy from Scrubs,
John
who
McGinley.
plays the same exact character in Scrubs, who's just this like
Yeah, he can only play that one
overarching
character.
like fuck you. I think each one of the characters just had something that they, in this kind of cheesy, hammy 90s action comedy that they brought to it that I jived with. I think Keanu and Lori Petty had some real chemistry. Surprised. So, I don't know. Yeah, 8.
Yeah, we haven't talked about really Tyler's
Yeah.
character at all. I think it was kind of brief. But yeah, when they were smooching on the beach, seemed
Yeah,
real.
she was. It was very stereotypical female
Yeah,
love
for sure.
interest.
Yeah.
in a '90s action movie.
There was
That's pretty much the character.
There was no reason for her to like him other than
movie.
the way he looks and
Well, his sob story, where we learn that he's a
and his
good
sob
liar.
story.
That was a really cool scene. I thought that was very well written. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like I also really fucking enjoyed this movie. Like we I think we were excitedly texting each other too about Point Break. We were like, "Holy shit, this is amazing." I expected this one to be the easy shitter as well, just like Speed. And fuck, this movie was very effective. I like to use that term because I think it set out to do the things it wanted to do. Like, does it want, like, the dumb part of my mind to, like, clap its hands when all the crazy action stuff happened? Like, well, guess what I did, okay? I enjoyed all of the crazy stunts, but I also like the care that they put in for some of these scenes. The surfing, the zen moments of skydiving. Like, I really kind of had that same spiritual awakening that Bodhi was trying to have Keanu do. And then alongside with Bodhi's character, I think that's kind of the heart of the movie, is their interplay together. I wish we had a little bit more of the bromance to kind of make it seem like they're more attached. I think it was a little brief. I didn't quite buy that it was a hard dilemma for Keanu to kind of betray them or leave them behind. I think maybe just a couple extra scenes of them talking and connecting in a real way. Because it just seemed like they went on a couple surf trips and Keanu kind of likes those guys as friends, but fuck, and it didn't seem like there was as much of a dilemma. So I think that could have been a small fix. There was definitely flaws in this movie. There was some clunky lines, there was some cheesiness, but I think that kind of added to it for me. Because this movie isn't timeless, I think it made it even a little better too. Like there was a retro quality that I found really charming about it. Kind of the late 80s, early 90s excess. It was hard to shut out those shooting scenes that we were talking about. But overall, man, fuck. I thought it was really fun. I can see why it's a cult movie. I can see why someone like Bodhi could exist in the real world and why someone would really connect to his whole philosophy. So, shit, I'm going to have to give it, I think, a 9 for me. Okay? And this is a subjective 9. All right? I know this is not a good, perfect movie, but this is a Denali 9. High
Wow.
recommend.
Whoa.
This movie also wasn't like the biggest smash. I mean, I think it got like, 83 $83 million in the box office.
I think its cultural legacy has way far
Yeah.
outpassed what its
It's
immediate box office.
The remake is
return.
worse.
It's like the Blade Runner. It's the Blade
that's
Runner of surfing. Yeah. Dude, did you guys see the trailer for
I've
the remake?
watched the remake. It was trash.
You watched
Yeah.
it? Wait, when did you see
2
it?
years
Did
ago.
you watch it
3
yesterday?
years ago.
Wait, so you knew the plot of Point Break?
That movie is so bad
Okay.
that it rapidly evaporated out of my brain, and I don't even think because of the way they play that one, it's like
Yeah,
anywhere near the story that you get with the original. Yeah.
really. You know what's weird? Like my brain violently rejects anyone else playing Johnny Utah. Like when I think about any other actor, and I'm like looking at the 2015 Point Break, and like I just cannot accept it. Yeah.
You said Matthew Broderick was in the running to play him earlier, and I started imagining him like it's like neurotic, like oh, I'm not sure if I'm the right person for this job character, like in the plane when they're about to jump out with the parachutes.
He's like, I'm gonna lick my palms to make it seem like I'm sick and I can't go on the skydiving trip. Step 1 of skipping out on your extreme sports. This movie, it was a cult hit. I think it opened number 4 in the box office that weekend, 91.
What else was ahead of this freaking movie?
Well, a little thing called Terminator 2 Judgment Day by a little guy named James Cameron,
We've already mentioned that movie.
husband of Catherine Bigelow. And then the re-release of 101 Dalmatians from 62 and Boys in the Hood also beat out Point Break that weekend.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Well,
What?
fair.
Yeah, I thought this would be like number 1, like Speed. Like I was just surprised that this one didn't blow the doors off the place. Like Keanu still wasn't
the premise is just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know.
But good job, guys. You made a good movie, and I'm happy for it. I feel like I grew a little bit watching it.
Multiple times I uttered, "Man, I want to move to California and learn to surf."
Yeah, I'm really jealous of you,
Yeah.
Dan. Like,
I don't
good
know that
timing.
it's
Shit.
like that anymore.
I mean, you go out to Malibu, it looks just like that. It's fucking great, dude. Sweet, dude. I mean, I want it, dude. Like that's the thing about this movie too is like, it feels like we just don't want to stop talking about it, which I think is another sign of a great.
There is 2 hours worth of
cultural
content,
impact,
and
yeah.
this is the first time that we probably haven't complained about a movie being that long, overly.
Yeah. It's an action movie too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think it was a few minutes too long, right? There were some like montages that were unnecessary and stuff like that.
I would love a sequel where it's Johnny Utah as a
As a bad guy.
58-year-old.
Where he's the surfer now.
I want the final John Wick movie to reveal at the end that John Wick is just an assumed name,
And that's what he's been doing this whole time.
and his real name is Johnny Utah.
So he kills people during the winter so that in the summers he can go surfing.
Ooh,
Yeah, he's the new Swayze.
okay.
I fucking love that so hard. And this could tie into our Keanu Reeves cinematic universe. Probably we could draw it out and say to the podcast where we can draw a line. Because a lot of them I think are connected. And we already, speaking of Wick, man, are we doing it?
Yep.
We're doing the Wick.
Are we doing the J-Dub? I'm excited for the J-Dub. I haven't seen J-Dub
It's been a
since
while
it came
for
out.
me. Yeah.
It's nice that we can end on the high note of Keanu's revived role in our culture. I'm psyched. Join us next week for fucking John Wick, guys. For episode 10, we're already closing it out. We're already closing out season 5.
Oh,
I'm not ready, dude.
Oh, man.
I wasn't ready. Yeah. Oh man.
gotta pitch more movies.
Like, shit. We should do a 40 movie season.
No, that's worse. I think.
And
maybe.
just-
I don't know.
If we just do a season where we go through an entire career. But yeah, I mean, we got State of the Podcast coming up already. But yeah, let us know what you think about Point Break and Keanu's very good movies. Jace, you want to give him the business?
Like and follow on Instagram at Good Boys Gone Bland.
Yeah.
And then tweet your
rate
send
us
us your
too?
fan fiction.
Yes, tweets, fanfics.
GBGB podcast.
What's your email?
gmail.com.
Yeah, if you have any fan theories,
Yeah.
we'll shout you out on the show. We'll do a jumbotron if you want on our email.
And visit our store on Etsy.
Yeah, we are. It's all fanfics is our store. Ryan draws all of them.
He
It's
draws
good stuff.
fanfics.
I graphic novel them, yeah.
Can
Yeah,
you
he
sell that on?
graphic novels, all fanfics. I think
handmade, I don't know.
You can draw, and it's all fanfics from this movie actually. So, and anything
you,
else
you know
we
where you're
wanna-
listening to us already. So
Yeah, rate us on the thing you're listening on, and on the other thing that
Yeah,
you don't
please.
listen on either. If you have an undercover cop too, tell them about us, and then if you are an undercover cop, too, tell your surfer gang about us as well, because we rely on word of mouth to grow the show. We don't have an advertising budget or anything, so we appreciate you guys spreading the gospel.
You're in between two big swells, and you're just like, there's a guy there, or your buddy, and you've been listening.
Yeah.
Tell him to distract
"Hey,
him,
brah."
and then steal his wave.
Oh, I thought you were gonna have him pitch the.
Well,
pitch the
tell him
podcast.
about the podcast to distract him, and then steal his wave.
Oh, yeah, and then he'll to get to the next one. He's gotta listen to a podcast to get there.
Totally.
Yeah, that's good. And as always,
Shabalabadoo.
via con Dios.
Via con Dios.
Is that a morbid thing to end on for our
Go
audience?
with God.
Is that
It's like
go with
great.
God? I forgot he says "whoa" in this movie too. He
Shit.
says it twice.
Yeah, he does say whoa.
Nice
He
point
says
break.
he says whoa a lot. He says whoa when they're night surfing like 3 times.
I like nice point break because he says the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
gonna
when
end
he
my
said,
recording.